Am I live? It says I'm live, but you never know with this. And I know I'm doing this last minute, so thank you everybody who is tuning in. This was kind of an impromptu thing, and it's a little early, I know, for our friends on the Pacific Coast, but I'm trying to find time that works for everybody. And this seems to be the best time for a Friday night. And I'm so thrown off because my pillows have switched sides. So I'm just going to hang out here while more people trickle in, if anybody trickles in. Did I get this time right as well? Wait, I said 6 p.m. Pacific time. Yeah, that would be 8 p.m. my time. Right? Yeah. Cool. Well, I also have jelly beans with me. I hope everyone can hear me. I was thinking we probably would talk about the Rams draft a little bit tonight. That's obviously the pressing event. I should have planned this better in advance too. Hi Hakeem, what's up? Thanks for coming to hang out. How are you? Everyone getting their Rams fix in? Hi Broski, how are you? Thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, I was thinking that we would just talk a little bit about the Rams draft, light and sweet. I know it's Friday night; people probably have plans. But yeah, it's interesting because so for anyone watching who listens to Downtown Rams, Jake and I by now would have done like a big breakdown of the draft. But Jake's moving date just so happened to coincide with like the day after the draft ended. Jake moved. So his whole setup and everything is dismantled. He's moving, putting it all together. And yeah, we haven't been able to record, but we did, if you guys saw on his channel, we did do something for Bleacher Report the Sunday after the draft where we graded the Rams draft picks. So you can go watch that on his channel. So you have a little something. And we will record as soon as he gets everything set up in his new place. Hakeem, he said it's good, but it's late in Denmark. He might not be engaged in the chat. I totally understand. Thank you so much for tuning in at all. Denmark sounds lovely, actually. I have heard nothing but good things about Denmark, and I would love to visit. When we did our Downtown Rams NFL draft stream, we had people quite literally watching from all over the world. And I was like reading out in the chat where everybody was from when we would do check ins. And I was like, everybody was from such cool, amazing, beautiful places. And I had serious jealousy issues during our live stream because I was like, I want to go visit. Like somebody, some of those people, anybody who ever wants to invite me anywhere, feel free because there's so many places I want to visit. And it's always better, in my opinion, to visit somewhere where you know somebody who knows the landscape and can show you all the coolest places other than just going by yourself. So we'll see. Maybe I'll save up and do a big European tour and go visit all my Rams friends in Europe. But yeah, it's crazy. It's been like a week since the draft, guys. I mean, looking at the draft, you know, the round one was last Thursday, so 8 days ago. We drafted Jared Verse in the first round pick since a long time. And now I've just been enjoying seeing all the discourse about the draft and planning for the future and seeing everything that's going to happen there. So that's been really exciting. And as more people trickle in, if they have any draft questions, we can certainly talk about it. If not, we can just hang out. I am curious to get a pulse on what time on Friday nights works best for everybody because I always like if I do things too late, people on the East Coast are like it's too late. But then if I do it too early, people on the Pacific Coast are like it's too early. So I'm always trying to find a time that works best for all of us to get together and hang out. So we'll see. Friday nights are also hard because everybody has a social life, I guess, and has plans and doesn't have time to hang out with me. But it is what it is, guys. I'm just going to run through as people are trickling in. Let's pull up the Rams draft picks, which we're going to start off with, obviously, our first round pick, guys. Pick number 19 in the draft, Jared Verse, the defensive end out of Florida State. I really liked this pick. What's up, So Sick? How are you? Thank you for tuning in. The Jared Verse pick for me was who I actually thought the Rams were going to take leading into the days of the draft. I have receipts. People can check my Twitter. I just felt like they were going to go edge because we really lacked a defensive pressure getting to the quarterback. And I felt like the Rams kind of understood that and would address that. And I felt like Jared Verse was somebody who they would like, but I thought we were going to trade up for him. So I did not expect us staying at 19 and getting Jared Verse. Very good value, in my opinion, to get him. I know that, like, I'll say this. I don't know if any Rams fan personally who didn't like the pick. Like, if anyone's listening and didn't like it, feel free to drop it in the chat and tell me why. But I didn't know of anybody who really hated the Verse pick. Like, I know some people wanted us to like trade up for like Rome or maybe take Brian Thomas Jr., receiver. Some people wanted us to go to left tackle. I would have been fine if we drafted a left tackle. What's up, Willie? Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you for being here. But I just felt like the Rams were going to go Jared Verse, and they did. So that was amazing to see. I agree with you, Hakeem. They said I like the Rams draft more and more. There's a clear vision, and I like it. Yeah, I think it's one of those drafts where, and maybe this is true for other people besides me and Hakeem or Joakim. Am I pronouncing that right? I think I've asked you that before, but please correct me if I'm wrong. Where we feel like this is a draft that you like more and more as time goes on. Although I did like it off the beginning. I mean, I gave it an A minus grade, so I obviously liked the draft. But as time has gone on, I'm feeling even more confident about our picks. I'm very excited for Braden Fisk. Very excited for him. I know a lot of people were a little bit angry with the compensation that we had to give up for him. But I think at the end of the day, listen, do I think it was a little steep? Yes, in my opinion. But am I mad at it? No, I'm not mad at it because I think the Rams knew, and as I think a lot of us who've watched him know, that it is he is a very talented defensive tackle. And with the loss of Aaron Donalds, I think it's so important that we have a strong interior. Now, Kobe Turner, obviously, we know he's amazing and super talented, as we saw last season, but you got to put people alongside him. Even Aaron Donald, as amazing as Aaron Donald was, we still at times struggled with our defensive interior in the most recent years, right? So I think that it doesn't hurt to beef up that interior defensive front. And yeah, I love the Braden Fisk pick. So let me check in on some comments here. What's up, Benji? Nice to see you. I'm also glad that we invested in the defense. Dill G15 said, "What's your record prediction?" They say 12-5. 12-5 is kind of what I'm feeling too. Maybe 11-6. We'll see what happens as it training camp happens and we hear more word out of camp. But I'm feeling really confident in this team. Brett from LA said, "Would you rather have one all-time Hall of Fame defensive lineman or 5 very good productive players?" I would take 5 very good productive players because teams win championships. So I think that that's probably what's going to happen. FA1CO said, "Hey, Alexis, who was your favorite draft selection this year for the Rams? What's up? Thank you so much for being here." My favorite draft selection, this is really tough because I think my favorite pick overall by the Rams was Jared Verse. But my favorite personal pick was Brennan Jackson because he was the sleeper for me in this draft. I love him, and he came on me and Jake's show. So I have a very special place in my heart for him. So yeah, between those two, I'd say. Willie said, "Alexis, why does the NFL media always hate on the Rams?" I'm not sure. I just think that the Rams are a team that, for whatever reason, is just constantly overlooked. And I don't know. I mean, we won a Super Bowl a couple years ago, and I felt like that was the first time that the media kind of gave us our uh, like did their due diligence on us and actually invested in us. And they've kind of fallen back in the old ways of kind of discounting us. But you know what? I prefer it that way. I would much rather be a team that the media overlooks and doesn't take seriously than be a team that gets super hyped up by the media and is really loved, because I think teams need that chip on their shoulder. And when you don't have that, you get complacent. So let them doubt us. It is annoying, but at the end of the day, let them do it. Benji said Boston Scott. How are we feeling? I was a little confused by it. I guess maybe they're looking at him as a kick returner, because if you think about it, we don't have a true kick returner on the team. So I'm assuming that that's why they brought him in. And then also, just again, he's very similar to Kyron and Blake Corum. So just rotate in if one of them goes out. Which brings me to Ernesto's question. They said thoughts on Blake Corum and Kyron combo. It is definitely growing on me. So I was confused by the Corum pick because my approach to the backfield personally, what I was wanting the Rams to do was I wanted them to draft a running back completely different than Kyron Williams, because I was thinking more of that old school approach where you kind of, you have a Kyron Williams who's that shifty, fluid running back that can kind of do a little bit of everything, right? And then you would pair him, in my mind, with like, obviously not Derrick Henry, but a Derrick Henry-esque back, that old school, big, hard hitting back, and you would rotate them out so you could have a little bit of everything. What I wasn't thinking of, which appears to be what the Rams want to do, is they're like, no, we want a Kyron Williams 2.0. What we want is somebody who, when we take Kyron off the field, he can do the exact same thing, because they don't want to have to change up their play calling. They want somebody to do all the things that Kyron does, because obviously when you look at last season and everything that Kyron did for the Rams, it was bad when he came off the field, right? We all know that when Kyron Williams left the field, the Rams really suffered. So now it makes sense that they're like, no, 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 we're just going to find another Kyron and plug and play them both. So I'm excited about that. I'm assuming they're using them as a duo. I know some people think, no, Kyron's running back one and Corum's going to be a running back two. I don't really see it that way. I think that they're going to be a duo. I think if anything, and I'm sorry to say this to Dynasty Kyron Williams owners like myself, I think if anything, what they might do is use Kyron more as a down the field guy, and then when they get to the red zone, maybe throw in Blake Corum, because he was kind of known, like his best runs I think were within like 6 yards or something. So that's my assumption, but again, I think it's going to be more of a duo. Than a running back 1 and 2. And then, hey, they got Boston Scott. I mean, maybe they just do a running back by committee. I don't know what their approach is going to be. Dill G15 said Jared Verse is a beast. I believe he's going to be great, but I won't be surprised if he struggles a bit. But I still believe he will get over six sacks. I agree with you. Brett said, will Jake's new studio have wood paneling? I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know what he's doing with it, but I'm pretty sure that he's got stuff that he's similar to his old setup. LA Lou said the Rams went exactly as I wanted. They went defense with the first 4 picks and 5 of the first 6. All 6 of those picks will contribute this season. I agree. I think that they drafted for sure at least 3 starters between the first 2 days. Ruiz said, why can't the Rams get another inside linebacker to go with Ernest Jones? We will be unstoppable if they make that move. I agree with you. I was a little disappointed that they didn't go inside linebacker at any point in the draft. However, this was a weaker class for that. I have to agree. So maybe they just really didn't like the group of guys that came out, and they're like, we're going to roll with Roseboom and Ernest Jones. Maybe there's somebody they're targeting via trade or free agency. I'm not sure, but I agree with you. They definitely needed to, in my opinion, I would have liked to have seen them target that in the draft. Willie said Verse and Fisk is going to be a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks in the NFL. I agree. Brett said we need more red zone touchdown conversions than field goals. I agree. Maybe this is the Rams acknowledging that last season in the red zone, we got really pass happy, and that was really frustrating. I think for a lot of us watching, because again, Kyron Williams is really efficient in the red zone. If you looked at and watched the games last season, so it was kind of frustrating that it was like, why aren't we running it? So maybe this will force them to run it more in the red zone. I'm not sure. Benji said, I don't understand why the camera and mic quality is so good on this channel, but things get spotty on Jake's channel. So I'm not sure either. I think that there's something with the software that Jake and I use to record where it's two cameras that lessens the quality of what's going on with me, which is kind of a bummer. But the only thing that I can think of is, he hosts that session when we do our software, if that makes sense. So he creates the link, he's hosting it, he's controlling it, and then I join. So maybe it's favoring his connection. I'm not sure, but it is frustrating because we would like to figure that out of why sometimes when we record Downtown Rams, I have issues, but then I get on here and it's totally fine. I don't know. I don't know. He's more versed in technology than I am, so I could be totally wrong, but you're right. There is a difference. Willie said, Alexis, that is the main reason. He's referring to why the Rams signed or drafted Quorum, why LA Rams should sign for a legitimate strong fullback like Xander Horvath. Benji said, in hindsight, I'm glad Bowers didn't come here. I want a defense. Yeah, I was never super psyched about the Bowers thing. I mean, I get it. He's obviously like a very good talent, but I just felt like, again, for a team that's contending, I kind of was like, there are other positions we need. And it's something personal against Bowers. He's going to be great in Las Vegas, I'm sure, but I'm glad we didn't go in that direction. LA Lou said, I understand your original point of view with the running backs. I wanted to go back in the days of Wendell Tyler and Colin Bryant, but I'm good with this. Dill said, also happy they finally have a capable kicker. Yes, guys, I really think we drafted the best kicker in the draft. I know that the Alabama kicker, Will Richard, I think it's pronounced, went like 3 picks ahead of Joshua Carty, but I think Joshua Carty was the best kicker in the class. So maybe we have our next Greg the Leg. Maybe we have our next franchise kicker. What's up, Manuel? How are you? Thank you so much for tuning in. William said, Jake be holding you back. Yeah, there's something I think just with the software, we need to figure out why it creates problems. I thought it was a bandwidth problem, but then I don't have that problem doing this. So there, again, I'm not good with technology. I'm sure that there's a reason. We'll have to figure it out. LA Lou said, I think the Rams did get another inside linebacker to go with Ernest Jones and UDFA Omar Spites, I think it's pronounced. Yes, I'm surprised he wasn't drafted. So you're right. I forgot about that UDFA signing. He definitely will compete. Manuel, thank you for listening at work. But yeah, the inside linebacker, like I said, it was kind of a weird class. There wasn't a lot of top heavy talent, but still I thought maybe the Rams would go linebacker later, and they didn't. So we'll see. But yeah, I agree. We kind of need somebody next to Ernest Jones. And then I hate to say it because I do think the Rams will pay him, but Ernest Jones' contract is up at the end of the year, at the end of the season. So if the worst happens and you don't get Ernest Jones back, then what are you going to do? So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I'm really, again, I really love the Rams draft. Rua said, who will you trade for at inside linebacker? I honestly haven't even looked into it. I don't know that there's anybody that I would trade for off the top of my head. I don't know. It's actually a good question. I don't know that there's anybody that I see the Rams targeting via trade at this point in time. I don't know that there's a position. I mean, you guys bring up a good point with the inside linebacker. Yeah, maybe if somebody becomes available. But again, usually when players become available, it's like in a contract situation. And do you all see the Rams dishing out a big contract to an inside linebacker at this point in time? I don't know that I see that, but we'll see. Benji said Caitlin Clark made her debut today, even though I'm a Sparks fan. That's right. I forgot about that. I'm a Chicago Sky fan, so I'm very excited for Angel Reese. And I think that they play today too. I was so busy all day. I haven't even looked into it. What's up, DV? LA Luz said, "Do you think that once we settle Stafford's contract, that it will clear enough space to re-sign Akello Witherspoon?" I'm not sure. I actually hadn't thought of it from that perspective. I do think that they are going to rework Stafford's contract. I know that he wants more guaranteed money. I do think the Rams will honor that request. So we'll see. I would like Akello Witherspoon to come back. We obviously got a lot of new talented pieces for our secondary, but I think that he was such a veteran presence last season. The people in the locker room really respected him that I think it would be really good for our defense to bring him back, and I do think he'd contribute. Um, so we'll see. I mean, he hasn't signed anywhere else yet. Did everybody see that Odell Beckham Jr. signed with Miami today? Um, it makes a lot of sense, but at the same time, I don't know, and maybe I'm a hater, but I'm like, I still don't see them getting very far with Tua. Again, I feel like a hater saying that because I know he's had good seasons, but I'm kinda just like, all that, I don't think I don't know. I'm just not high on the Dolphins right now. Not just for Tua, but a lot of their depth. I feel like they lost a lot of pieces, but I have to cheer for Jalen Ramsey. I'm sure a lot of you feel the same way. So, yeah, I agree. Good for him. Somebody asked, "How do you feel about Trey Tomlinson? Hopefully, he gets a bigger role this year because he's a dog on defense." I agree. That's actually a good point. I would like to see the Rams give him more of an opportunity. I'd like to see them give Kobe Durant more of an opportunity. We'll see what they do with Darion Kendrick. But yeah, I just feel like you've obviously got Tre'Davious White back there, who's going to make a big splash, in my opinion, and Darius Williams coming back. But I feel like there I just want to see one more key piece. You got Cameron Curl. I believe Cameron Kinchins is going to start. So I think you're going to have the two Cams back there starting. And then I think right now they're probably looking at like Quentin Lake and like that star position. So it's actually a very solid secondary. I mean, they're new. It might take a while to work out some kinks, just getting them all together, but I'm optimistic about it. I like that. I just would like to see again like that third corner, that third strong corner. Benji said, "I'm kind of sort of concerned about us losing a ton of coaches. Does it not feel like the Rams are constantly losing coaches?" Like, and I've never asked anybody in a different fan base because, again, like we all follow our team, so we're familiar with our coaches and we know when we lose. Like players and coaches and whatnot. So I've never asked anybody in another fan base if they feel like their coaches are constantly leaving. But speaking for Rams fans, I definitely feel like our coaches are always leaving. And it is kind of concerning because I feel like there's a continuity issue at times. Now, does that actually translate onto the field? Does it not? Does it, make that big of a difference? Who knows? But it still is frustrating because I think a lot of times when you feel like your team is on an upward swing, like I felt with the Rams last season. I mean, I know we lost in the playoffs, but I felt like the Rams had really improved and things were trending upward. And then they lose all these coaches. It does give you like that little panic and that little anxiety to be like, oh my God, like we have to restart over at these positions and these coaches. So I don't know. Maybe nobody else feels that way. I guess me and Benji do. But yeah, I do feel like the Rams lose their coaches a lot. Ruiz said that's why us upgrading an inside linebacker will take us the top, a true sideline to sideline linebacker. I agree. Ruiz, you told me during the draft that you pronounced your name actually a different way. And I remember that, but I feel like I'm still getting it wrong. So if you could correct me, please, because I would love to get your name right. It's important to me to get everybody's name right. And please correct me, guys, if I'm wrong. So Benji said, "I'm glad OBJ didn't come here so we can avoid the Kardashian drama. Maybe it's only me." I'm also kind of convinced that I don't know that they ever were actually dating, if it's just like a PR thing, because you like never saw them together. Everything we heard about them was basically like from TMZ or articles, but like they weren't like going out together. So I just wonder if that was even real. Dill said, "I still can't believe the Falcons took Penix. What a waste of a pick, in my opinion." I agree with you. I understand how they're trying to frame it. They're trying to frame it as the, Jordan Love method, right? When you have an Aaron Jones, but you draft Jordan Love. First off, Michael Penix is not Jordan Love. Some argue, well, you know what? Some argue that Michael Penix is a better prospect than Jordan Love. I don't know that I agree with that. But again, you just gave Kirk Cousins a 4-year, like $100 million contract. What are you doing? That's not really fair to Penix, who, in my opinion, could have had an opportunity to go somewhere and contribute sooner. Is it really fair to Kurt? I mean, fair is, I guess, not the right word to use, but what does that tell him? I just didn't like it. I didn't like it for anybody involved. I just didn't like it. BSR Python said Coach Morris's bend don't break was not ideal. I do not think that it was an intentional strategy so much as a consideration given the defensive personnel we had. Yes, I agree with that to an extent. I think bend don't break was our way of dealing with some holes we had in the defense. So, do I expect the Rams to do that this season? I'm not so sure. I think that they're obviously going to get everybody in there and see what works, but I think bend don't break again was not so much of a strategy as it was like they felt they had to do that. So we'll see. I mean, it did work. I know a lot of people really hate bend don't break, but it did work. It was infuriating to watch as a fan, but it got the job done. Christopher said, "Look what happened to Rodgers." Agree. Brett said Raheem Morris's first noticeable move with Atlanta, going with signing Penix, makes me think that Morris moving on was a plus for the Rams. To be fair to Raheem Morris, I don't know how much of that was really his decision. I mean, he's acting like he's on board with the pick, but at the end of the day, it's not the coaches making the picks, it's the GMs. So who knows? Maybe he strongly disagreed with it and he just can't come out and say it. I'm a Raheem Morris defender fiercely, so I've gaslit myself into thinking that he didn't actually want that pick. That's how I'm coping with it. BSR Python said, all I can say is I'm looking forward to the Shula era and what you can do with more capable folks. Thoughts? I'm looking forward to it as well. Like I said, listen, he's been in this system and again, I think we'll see some Raheem Morris-esque moves, but really we kind of don't know what to expect from him, right? I mean, this is his first time being a defensive coordinator, so I'm anxiously awaiting what we're going to see. Hi, Darren. Skyman said Rams are a team ready to go back to the Super Bowl and win it again. I agree. Let's do it. LA Lou said the Rams losing coaches is part of success that must be contended with. Would it be better if no one wanted our coaches? We tend to fill the vacancies well. It's a positive for the Rams' reputation. That is true. It is usually a good sign when teams are trying to poach your coaches and when people leave, because that means you're doing something right. Rams PTN said, I'm excited to see what this defense can do. I agree. Very excited for this new look defense. Alex, what's up? Thank you so much for tuning in. One of the goats of our draft live stream, helping Jake out with those clips. BSR said, I'm not laying that Penix pick on Coach Morris either. Yeah, I mean, nobody's really going to ever know, maybe until like 20 years from now, if Raheem Morris does a tell all, what went on in that room. But yeah, for all we know, he couldn't have been on board with it. It is obviously, though, not a good look for him. He's coming out and he's defending it. And, whether he wanted the move or not, it's his team. So he's got to take the heat for it if people don't like it. Darren said, bend don't break wasn't a preferred preference for Morris. The game plan was from above to hold opponents under 20, and we score over 20. Morris did a very good job for what he had to work with. Yes, exactly. That is in line with what I was saying, what I was thinking, because yeah, I mean, I think that's what bend don't break is made for. It's again, it's not your plan A. I don't really think that's an effective, well, I don't want to say effective because it does work, but it's not really a normal plan A for most defensive teams. It's not what you really want to go with. Leroy said, I think Hendo should have gotten more credit for our defense than he got. Morris seemed to be given all the credit. If they knew that Morris was about to leave, then why did they hire Hendo as our DC? I'm not sure. I mean, I do think the Rams expected Raheem to leave. They all kind of were very kind enough to advocate for him to teams. So yeah, they definitely knew he was leaving. Someone said, I'm still asking what came first, the Chorus signing or the Morris hiring. Oh, you know what? I think it was the Cousins signing. No. It was the Morris hiring. Pretty sure it was the Morris hiring. That's actually a good question. I didn't think of it that way. Brett said new hotness break opposing offenses. Um, sorry guys, I'm trying to. There's like emojis for whatever reason on my version of the chat that sometimes block comments coming in. So many more people in here now. Thank you, everybody. Hello, everyone joining us. Alex said, no way that's on Morris. Falcons literally didn't hire Belichick because they wanted a GM with control over the roster versus a coach having too much to say. That is very true. Yeah, I think it's all the GM over in Atlanta. I think that he's usually the GM is calling the shots, but sometimes it can be a collaborative decision. I don't get the vibe that that's what was going on in Atlanta. Although obviously Raheem is not going to come out as a head coach and say, I hated this pick, because then he could get fired, right? So he's going to go along with it. I don't get the sense that that was his choice. I think that that was all the GM. Christopher said Sean would never throw Les under the bus. I agree with you. And I think most coaches are like that because their job is on the line, right? So they're not, I don't remember the last time I've seen a head coach in the NFL throw their GM under the bus, or the front office or anything. Just want to be a good career move. That's what we're for, right? That's what the fans are for. We'll throw our GM or our coach or whoever under the bus or criticize them without consequence because we can. They can't tell us to stop being a fan, if that makes sense. But yeah, very, very weird energy, going on for Atlanta. I didn't really like their draft, to be honest. I thought they made some good pickups at the end, but it was kind of like the Chargers. I felt like the Chargers also had a weird draft. And we don't really need to talk about other people's drafts because, I know people want to talk about the Rams. Alex said, yeah, when the Cowboys threw Dak under the bus, yeah, bad energy. The Cowboys are one of those teams. So we're talking about who calls the shots. Jerry Jones calls every single shot for the Cowboys. It basically lives and dies with Jerry Jones. I wouldn't want an owner like that as a sports fan, if I'm being honest, unless that owner was incredibly competent and just had a history of just nailing everything. I almost think the best approach is to have the owners for your sports team be like involved, but trust the GM to make the decisions, if that makes sense. Because I feel like you see these teams that have the owners running everything and it's not a collaborative experience, and it's their way or the highway, and it usually never ends well. Christopher said, we're lucky we have the best GM in the league. Yes, referring to Les Snead. Tyler said, hey, Alexis, loved your draft coverage. It made the days way more informative. Thank you so much, Tyler. That's very kind. I'm glad that you hung out with us and enjoyed the coverage. LA Lou said, I actually think Sean and Les are in lockstep with each other. The Rams have been drafting extremely well. How could they if they weren't? I agree with you. I think they have very similar philosophies, and they have very similar types of players, that they like, and they like the same style of play. So I think it makes things very cohesive over in the Rams organization that our GM and our head coach have like a very like mind. That's very good, because again, if you butt heads as a GM and a head coach, somebody's going to always be unhappy. And I don't really think that's good for organizations when that happens. Leroy said, I'm glad we didn't draft Chop. Now I'm hearing that many of the top draft evaluators didn't think much of him. Yeah, I don't think, he slid down boards. I think it was maybe an age thing or, an injury thing. I know the Rams did meet with him a lot, but yeah, I wasn't like convinced that the move was going to be Chop Robinson. Edwin said, if AD pulls an Eric Weddle this year, I'm going to lose my mind. I hope he comes back and wins another ring with us. Listen, I would love that, but I am as of now convinced that's not happening, because he has said several times that there's no way. But hey, it's not over till it's over. If the Rams are making that playoff run next January, he could come back. And Aaron Donald, he's going to be in shape. He's going to still be in shape, and he's going to be talented enough to come back. So we will have to see. Dill said, Les and McVay always find steals, and it's insane how they keep finding them every draft. So true. Alex said, I know Stan Kroenke is a sore subject for some, understandably, but truly look at what he's done, not only as the owner of the Rams, but of all the other sports franchises he owns. Man is a genius. Yeah, I think that Kroenke again is like kind of that the mold of that owner I was talking about earlier, where like he's not super involved. And I think it's better that way. I think it's better when owners trust their GM if they've proven to do a good job, and they trust their coach when they've proven to do a good job and are like, listen, I'm funding the operation. I'm as involved as I want to be, whatever, but I trust you guys, and I'll stand by that. And I think that Kroenke is that type of owner with all his sports teams. Cause I don't think that he's like sitting there, knows everything about the NFL or everything about the NBA or hockey. I think it's probably more than likely that he knows like kind of the minimum of everything, but he does a very good job of hiring the right people to get the job done. And that's the type of sports owner I like. Again, I think you got the Jerry Jones who are sabotaging their team because they have to control everything. Brett said the Cowboys will not win another Super Bowl with Jerry Jones calling the shots. He's too close to the players and overpays for mediocre talent. Exactly. That's what happens when you have an owner who's very clouded by relationships with the players and wanting to control everything. And it's too much and it's not working out for them. Edwin said, I felt bad for Chop after the video, him looking disappointed he wasn't drafted by the Rams. I hope he has success, just not against us. Yeah, I like Chop. I think he's a great guy. And again, he's in Miami, who's got a lot of talent. So he's in a good spot, I think. Leroy said, I think that Chop dazzled Minnie with his speed off the corner, but he doesn't have a variety of moves like Verslatu and Turner do. I agree with that. Brett said the Cowboys would have been the Cardinals if it wasn't for Jimmy Johnson. Christopher said, I love Stan. I lived through Georgia. Tyler said Kroenke cares about hiring his main staff and believes he can find the right people to run the team. Then he lets them do their job. Yeah, and that's a good way to be a boss, if you ask me. I mean, you have to hire the right people, and you have to trust that they'll do their job. And yeah, don't try to do everybody's job for them, especially in the NFL. And look what happens. You see these successful teams. Edwin said, if the Rams come out with a new uniform, what color or color combo are you hoping for? Good question, because I know this is very popular in the Ramsverse right now. I really want like something reminiscent of the yellow color rush jerseys. Do you guys remember that? Like the last year the Rams were in St. Louis and they had the yellow color rush. I really liked those. So I would like something reminiscent of that. Oh my gosh, I'm getting a phone call. I'm so sorry. I don't know if you guys heard that. Let me just text my sister and tell her that I am on a live stream. Sorry about that. So anyways, the uniforms, I would really like something reminiscent of the color rush jerseys from 2016 of the yellow. I know some people really want black, like the all black jerseys, but I don't know. I'm not really into that. I'm kind of weird. Like I don't really like teams when they do blackout jerseys if black isn't one of their team colors. I feel like it just looks forced. Maybe you guys disagree with me, but I don't think that's what the Rams are going to do. I think it's going to be the yellow, or maybe like. Do you think the Rams could get crazy and do some throwback to the navy and gold? Would people even like that? I would like it because I'm from St. Louis, so those jerseys are very nostalgic for me. But does anybody think that the Rams can just pull a wild card and come out with like a navy and gold modernized throwback? That would be interesting. Okay, everybody's saying they didn't hear my phone ring. So that's insane because it went off and on my computer too. Leroy said black, blue, and gold will be one of the uniforms and helmet editions. BSR said now your dogs are texting you. If only. Christopher said color rush LA. Corey said please not that yellow mustard. I liked I liked the jerseys that year, the color rush jersey. Maybe it's just me, but I liked it. Rams RPTN said brown and yellow. I don't know. I don't for brown and yellow. Is that like a different type of throwback? Alex said I would love a modern STL throwback. I would too, and it would totally be a wild card. Nobody would be expecting it. JAC42 said I like the all blue uniforms. The Rams barely wear it. They could do like a blue type of throwback. Brett said the LA fans will not tolerate St. Louis, Navy, and gold. Yes, they will. They have the team in LA. Listen, we did the Cleveland Rams throwback, and people were fine with that. DV Hasty on 11 said they were cool, the color rush. I like the bright colors. I do too. And I liked that yellow more than I like. Sometimes I feel like the yellow on our blue uniforms looks like a highlightery yellow and not the true soul. Maybe it's just me, but I would like to see more of that soul color yellow. Benji said, Alexis, how does your grandpa feel about the Bears after the draft? So for those who don't know, my grandpa is 92. He is a lifelong Bears fan. He is very optimistic, but he is also like, I'll believe it when I see it. Like, he's just like kind of has no, like, he's like, yeah, I think it'll be fine, but I'm not like, he's not letting himself fall into this romance with the idea of what the Bears can be now that they've loaded their team and drafted Caleb, because he knows so much pain as a Bears fan that he is so jaded, and he's just like, I'll believe it when I see it. Like, he's just not even letting himself go there. Leroy said, I really hate the bone or the off-white jerseys and pants. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the bone combo as well. LA Lou said, I want the Rams to go back to the white horn helmet and the 60s white uni with the solid blue line going through the shoulder and a solid blue line going down the pants. And no, we won't tolerate. Guys, listen, whatever throwback jerseys the Rams want to do, we'll all just embrace whatever. But I think it's going to be yellow for what it's worth, if I had to guess. Tyler said, I just want them to get rid of the bone jerseys. Yeah, I think they're trying to phase them out. I don't think they'll ever admit it, but I do think they are trying to phase them out. Skyman said, bring back the old school helmets. Battletoon asked, is your grandpa a Cubs fan? Yes, he is. He watches every single game, which, listen, I'm a St. Louis Cardinals fan, so we have a big rivalry. Benji said, at least he has the 85 Bears. So true. Corey said, what about the 60s Rams color? That would be cool too. Brett said, Jack Youngblood, royal blue and yellow. Edwin said, what home game would you like to go to this year and why? And make sure you take the stadium tour beforehand. I missed out when I went. I will go to any game that I can. If I can get my hands on tickets, I want to go. I don't really have a preference in opponent. I guess when the schedule comes out, we'll just have to see what works best with my schedule. I'm in a wedding in October, so I'm really hoping that's not the weekend the Rams are in Chicago. Because I'll be going to the Chicago game otherwise, but I will be out of town one weekend in October for a wedding that I'm in. And knowing my luck, that will be the weekend the Rams are here, and it will be devastating. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen. Corey, I've been to SoFi before. So I've only been once. It'll be my second time going. Alex said if they do a blackout uni, the only way it's going to work is if they do a matte black helmet with gold leaf horns and metallic blue outline. Yes, that makes sense. Brett said, what was your grandpa's reaction when the Cubs won the World Series in 2016? He was elated, and I wish I could have been with him when they won. Even as a Cardinals fan, I was rooting for the Cubs that year because I was like, listen, my grandpa's 92 years old. He deserved to see, well, at the time he wasn't 92, can't do math, but I was like, he deserves to see it. He watches every game. I'm not kidding. Every single Cubs game he watches. Steve said, I'm a Rams fan. They could be the Des Moines, Iowa Rams, and I will still represent. Exactly, Steve. That's how I feel as well. Battletoon said the Rams need a black jersey. We were just talking about that. I don't think that that's what they'll do, but we'll see. LA Lou said, do you have ambitions of being a working actress, and do you see yourself eventually moving to LA? I would love that. I do, for those unfamiliar, I did improv comedy through the Upright Citizens Brigade. Now I do it at the Second City. I love improv. I love acting. It would be my dream job. Life, however, sometimes is just, there's a lot of hurdles and a lot of things you got to overcome. And right now, everything in my life is like this shifting, fluid thing where I'm just trying to make it work and make it happen. But yes, if I had it my way, that's what I would be doing. And that would be amazing. And I have not ruled it out. I'll say that. I've not ruled it out. Corey said 2024, 2025 Rams record prediction. I said earlier that I see them in the 12-5, 11-6 ballpark. I would love if they could do 12-5. I think that that's kind of where I'm falling now. Brett said the Rams are due to play in Europe this season, and they're playing 9 home games this season. That is correct. Edwin said the Rams don't need a black uni. We aren't the ugly Raiders. I really don't think we're going to go black uni. I don't. Again, I think it's a little weird to me when teams who one of their primary colors isn't black then does like a blackout uniform. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I feel like it looks forced because then you're trying to get your other colors on it, and I don't know. Maybe that's dumb. It's probably dumb, but I don't know. Leroy said you could be Aubrey Plaza's stunt double. Thank you. I don't actually. Everything is flipped. This is normally on this side. I don't actually think we look anything alike, but I'm a huge fan of hers. So, um, and I got to meet her once. I met her last fall. I went to her play in New York City. Darth said the one thing I want to see is Sean McVay do a better job in red zone play calling. I agree. Yes, we were talking about that also earlier. He needs to run the ball more in the red zone. So hopefully he does this season. Um, Steve said, would love to see some of your improv comedy on YouTube. I've never done any that's filmed before. So, maybe soon. I don't even know how that would work or what that would look like, but yeah, that would be really fun if I could have somebody go and record something. And I'm still in the training program at the Second City, so you have to do their whole training program, regardless if you've done it anywhere else before. So yeah. Um, Darren said, well, thank you, Darren. Your comment about the ESPN broadcaster. I appreciate it. That's very, very kind. Benji said, improv comedy acting. No wonder your voice holds attention. I wish I had that talent. Thank you, Benji. And yeah, that's a very big passion of mine. I like it. Improv comedy, I know scares a lot of people, but it's not as scary as you guys would think. If any of you are ever interested in doing it, definitely take a class because it sounds more intimidating than it is, at least to me, if that makes sense. Benji, I will not forget you mere mortals, as I will always be one. LA Lou said, without getting specific, is your height and weight the same as Aubrey Plaza? That would put you in the running at least. I think she's more petite than I am. I like when I met her, I think that she was shorter than me slightly, and yeah, I think she's more petite than I am. Alex said I can see the Rams doing the black uni for one reason: money. Black unis sell regardless if it makes sense or not. That is true. That is true. Rams RPTN said you can be Jonah Hill's sister in a movie. I hope that's a compliment. I don't know. There's some bad things about Jonah Hill that have come out. Ram, your end zone said, hey, Alexis, we should all go white jersey with blue old school. That would be cool. I love the Rams white throwback unis. Love them. My favorite jersey. Edwin said, I love the fact we are the only team in the NFL with a mariachi band. There's a mariachi band. There's a huge Mexican fan base in LA, and it's nice that our home team embraces the culture, and you and Jake are always invited. Thank you so much, Edwin. Yes, I have gone to tailgates at SoFi, and it was amazing. And I have not gotten to see the mariachi band for the Rams when I went there, which is disappointing because I agree that's so cool. And yeah, definitely embracing of the culture, which again, always positive. Corey said, what's for dinner? I don't know. I was actually thinking of ordering Mexican food tonight, guys. I'm not going to lie. After this, I was thinking of DoorDashing Mexican because there's a really good place by me that I feel like I order from a lot, and I might do it again. Brett said, Aubrey used to play for the Pistol Shrimps out in LA. I remember hearing her talk about that before. I don't know much about it, but I remember something about her being on a basketball team that was really popular out there. Brett is having In and Out. Ugh, so jealous. Sean said, I wouldn't question, Christopher said, I wouldn't question Sean, which is why I have no faith in Eberflus. Edwin said, favorite Mexican dish. That's tough, actually. I love a good enchilada. I have to think about that. I love, well, let's say enchilada, but I will eat anything at a Mexican restaurant. Everything is so good. So it's kind of a trick question. DV said, DoorDash Chicago fee, is it true? I have like DoorDash Pass, so I don't pay anything for delivery. I also think that if the fee you're referring to might be like at a different part of the city than I'm in. if you can elaborate on that, I'll let you know. I have DoorDash Pass, so like I get 0 delivery over $12. Um, Salty's barbecue. Barbecue is really good, and where I'm from, they make really, really good barbecue. In St. Louis, if you guys have ever had it there, know that's signature. And I haven't had barbecue since I've been home for that reason. LA Lou said Jalen Ramsey loved our mariachi band. He used to suit up in their. Yes, that's right. I remember that now. That rings a bell. That's very cool. Having a bad hair day, guys. Ram, your Enzo 10, are you still upset about the quorum pick? No. I talked about this earlier. In the live stream, kind of what my approach was and what the Rams approach is and how now it makes sense what they're trying to do. But at the time, I didn't like the approach. Real quick, guys, everyone said, what's for dinner? I don't have dinner yet, but over here, I do have jelly beans. Because for whatever reason, I got it in my mind a few days ago that I haven't had jelly beans in several years, and I was like, I'm going to go get some. So I did, and now I'm having trouble finishing it. It's like the 50 flavors bag. Benji said, Alexis, your fave shows or movies you're currently watching to get through the off season. So I'm a big movie freak. I have Letterboxd. I am obsessive compulsive in my life. I've talked about that before. I can get OCD about tracking the movies I watch. Because I've just watched so many and I want to know which ones I've seen and all of that. And I don't want to rewatch things. And my goal for this year was to watch 100 new movies, and I'm probably going to get to 200. So anyways, what I'm watching right now, I've been rewatching a lot of feel-good movies lately. I just rewatched The Wedding Singer, if you guys have seen that movie with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore. I love Drew Barrymore. I'm a huge fan of hers. I love all of her movies. I think she's an underrated actress. And The Wedding Singer is great if you haven't seen it. Corey said, first Rams game. I don't remember my first Rams game because my parents had PSLs during the Greatest Show and Turf days. And I was like 0 to 3 to 4 years old. So they took me to all those games. So I technically don't remember my first game because I just grew up going. So I remember my last Rams game was the NFC Championship that we won. So that's good. Rez said, Corum has elite vision. I may be alone in this, but I see C-Mac in him. I agree with the vision. I do. I think he has the best vision in the running back class this year. Alex said, I saw you watch Donnie Darko, but what did you think about it? Yes, I did watch Donnie Darko. Because I've had so many people tell me I need to see it, and it's surprising I haven't seen it because it just feels like a movie that'd be up my alley. I liked it because I liked the acting in it, but I felt like for me the story, I felt like I was confused the whole time on like, is the bunny real? Is he actually hallucinating? And I kind of felt like it came full circle at the end, but you reminded me, I've been wanting to look up theories about that movie and see if I missed something because I felt like there was like a couple of things that didn't add up for me in the end, if that makes sense. Brett said, what's your favorite improv troupe? Monty Python, Kids in the Hall? Ooh, no comment because I don't know that I have a good one. I will say, as far as improv goes, I like watching clips from individuals who came out of institutions that I respect and am lucky enough to have been a part of. Like anybody who came out of Upright Citizens Brigade, I love because I finished their core program. And then anybody obviously that came out of the Second City, I'm there every single week and I train there. So just very lucky to participate in places that have had so many legends and very talented people go through them. Steve said green chili enchiladas. Hey, any enchiladas, give them to me. I will eat them. Love them. Edwin said, I felt the same watching that movie. My sister thought it was amazing. I'm like, no. Yeah, I think Donnie Darko is just one of those, it's just got kind of like a cult following, and I understand why, because it's got that vibe. But there was just a couple things, like I felt like I would need to rewatch it maybe again because I don't know, a couple loose ends for me. What's up, Kenny? How are you? Thank you so much for joining the live stream. Jesus said, who are your defensive rookie and offensive rookie of the year? It's too early. I don't know. I think Kayla Williams, obviously, offensive rookie, I think is the favorite. Defensive rookie, I'm gonna say Jared Verse. I really haven't looked into it. I haven't looked into the odds. I would need to think about it more, but I'm going to say Jared Verse. I'm going to speak it into the universe. Darren said, a great rock producer I know, Ted Perlman, in music production for The Wedding Singer and Chuck and Larry, both Adam Sandler movies. That is amazing. And I don't know if your friend had any involvement in The Wedding Singer soundtrack, but on my phone in my library, I have Want to Grow Old with You and Somebody Kill Me from The Wedding Singer. If you guys have seen that movie, those are my favorite songs from the movie, and I listened to them today. I think they're great. And Adam Sandler is king. Alex said, "Oh yeah, breakdown videos are a must for movies like Donnie Darko." Good point. And then he recommended Bubble Boy for a Jake Gyllenhaal classic. I will make note of that. Edwin said, please tell me you guys are going to re-interview Brennan Jackson. Yes. We don't have a date set, but me and Jake both spoke to him after the draft. He would love to come back on. He's obviously very busy, so we're just figuring out a schedule thing. So hopefully we will get him on. We should. He wants to. He said he's going to come back on, and we'll see. But he's awesome, guys. And he saw Jake and I's reaction because he follows our stuff. So he reached out and was like, I saw your guys' video of when I got drafted. It meant so much to me. And I'm so excited to be on the Rams. So, guys, he's a big fan of Downtown Rams if you guys follow our show. So very cool. Benji said, speaking of cult classes, just we watched The Big Lebowski, Still Elite. You know when the first time I ever saw that movie was in Los Angeles. I went to Los Angeles for my birthday in 2021, and I watched that movie in my hotel room. I ordered out vegan food. I'm not vegan, but there was just a really good vegan restaurant nearby, so I wanted to try it, and I watched The Big Lebowski. LA Lou said, did you see Beautiful Girls? 12-year-old Natalie Portman almost steals the movie. I don't think I've seen that. It sounds familiar. Benji said, oh, wait, I read your comment about Big Lebowski. DV said, so the Chicago fee, I saw a meme and it shows the receipt and it was like $1.50. So I thought it was a joke, but I was doing a little more research and it's a thing, I guess. I'm not sure. I don't know that I am considered city. I'm not city of Chicago. So I don't want to say where I live, but I'm outside that line of where I think where I know they consider the city. So, I don't know, but I do have DoorDash Pass. Brett Nightcrawler, yes, good movie. I have seen that, but I've been thinking about rewatching it because I haven't seen it in a long time. He said, I just joined. Who are you talking about? I'm not sure. I missed. What was the last thing you heard me say? And I'll tell you. We've been going in between Rams and movies and comedy, and I've been talking about so many different people. I'm having such a bad hair day today, guys. This is a Day Seeker hat. This is a band I like. I threw on a hat. It rained. I got poured on rain today. It rained all day in Chicagoland. So my hair frizzed out. I raced home. Now I'm on here, and thank you, Brett. That's kind, but I'm just like, what's going on? Alex, what's the California fee? Oh, the can said someone we drafted that was a big fan of Downtown Rams, Brennan Jackson. So we interviewed Brennan Jackson on Downtown Rams this season. And after we drafted him, he saw Jake and I's reaction video of when we drafted him. And it was like, and said that he saw the video, said that he was so happy to be a Ram and that he loved our reaction and he would love to come back on the show. And again, was just appreciative of what we were doing. And I've heard that from his family as well. His family, specifically his mom, loved our interview with him and loved the reaction because also that reaction video has everybody's comments in it during our live stream. So they were able to see that and they were just like hyped. Edwin said, did anyone notice that the new kicker's mom had ram's horns on her head when he got the call. Coincidence? I think not. I didn't see that video. Why did I not see that? Benji said Brennan Jackson, great energy. He loves Avatar: The Last Airbender. Put him in the Hall of Fame. Yes, he does. He talked about that on our podcast. LA Lou said, speaking of bands, have you heard The Warning? I have not. Is that a rock band? My music taste is all over the place, so I will listen to anything. Darren said, Rams, movies, music, comedy, and Alexis, this could be the best podcast ever. I know. We are just covering everything, aren't we? Robert said, what do you think of Drake Stoops? Looks like serious potential. I agree. I will admit I've not dove into his film. I've seen not enough on him to probably make an educated decision, but I've heard very good things about him. I like his, what I've heard. And maybe, again, I think the Rams have a very wide open competition at wide receiver 5, maybe even wide receiver 4, based on, what we're hearing. So, all right, it sounds like I'm checking out The Warning based on the chat, guys. What's up, Jose? How are you? We are just talking about a wide range of things on the show right now. A little bit of everything. Brett said Cardi's mom really wanted her son to play for the Rams, and she decked out in his party in blue and gold. Nice. Mom knows best. By the way, I love how I'm on here saying I'm going to DoorDash from that Mexican restaurant I love later, but I need to make sure that they do delivery at a certain time because I might miss my window depending on how late we're on here. Brett said favorite movie directors. Martin Scorsese. I know that that's a classic answer. He's my favorite, but there's a list of other guys and girls that I really like, but yeah, Martin Scorsese's got to be my number one. Miguel said, why don't you like the running back pick? So I talked about this earlier, and I do like the pick. I didn't like it at first because my vision for what I wanted and thought the Rams should do at running back did not align with what the Rams ended up doing. But now it makes sense. I understand why they are going with instead of finding someone to use as more of a complement to Kyron, they're going as a clone of Kyron. And it makes sense why they want to do that based off of last season. So yeah, I like it. Again, they're very similar. If you guys watch Kyron's tape and Blake Corum's tape, you can see how they would plug and play for each other. Jose said, definitely getting Verse and Fisk jerseys. Do it. Edwin said, it's crazy to me how much the Rams content on YouTube has grown. I love it. And you and Jake are pioneers. Thank you so much. Then said, did you ever have any Rams YouTubers you enjoyed before watching you guys started? So I didn't. So I'm very much when it comes to content, I'm getting better at it, but I didn't watch anything on YouTube. I still, I do YouTube, but I'm not somebody who turns it on as often, but I like all the people in the Ram space. I will say from everything I've seen, I'll get videos sent to me. I'll see what people are watching, but I don't watch anything consistently, but everybody's good. I think the Rams are lucky that we have a lot of really good content creators. I don't really hear bad things said about anybody in the Rams space that often, which I think is a good sign. And hopefully nothing bad is, I know bad things have probably been said about me, but thankfully I don't see it too often. Alex said Joshua Cardi is going to be good for 3, hence him taking 43 is dope. I see what you did there. Is that why he took 43? I wonder if that's why. We should ask him. Jose said, did you ever get Kyron's jersey or the stair stepper? While asking, yes, my stair stepper's over there. I did get a stair stepper, and I do have Kyron's jersey. Jake got it for me as a gift, actually, for my birthday, or was it Christmas? I don't remember. His rookie year, he got me Kyron's jersey, and yeah, I have it. LA Lou said the warning in 2014 was Ale on base. Not okay. I don't know anything about the warning, but I will check them out. Like I said, Rams Brothers is good. Rams RPTN, I agree. Am I behind? Okay, the can said, is Zach Evans pretty much a practice squad player now that we signed Boston Scott? What the hell happened to Zach Evans? My understanding, loosely, is that Zach Evans did not impress when, so the Rams drafted him and they didn't really like what they saw in training camp. And as the season went on, they kind of are out on him. So, well, I shouldn't say out on him, but it's not a good sign that we signed Boston Scott for Zach Evans. What's up, BZ? Thank you for stopping by, Russ. Russ said and then they also said aside from Bradford, who else wore number 8? I can't think of the last person who wore number 8. Well, Matt Gay wore number 8, right? I'm totally blanking. Edwin said, what Rams rookie would you like to interview and what would be your first question? Well, any of them. And my first question would be, how does it feel to be a Los Angeles Ram? Because I'm sure it feels great. Yeah, let me, by the way, make sure that they are open. Oh, I have 23 minutes left to order. I'll go ahead and put it in now. BZ said, wait, well, why is it a bad sign that we got Boston Scott? Sorry, just got here. It's not a bad sign. If it's a bad sign, it's a bad sign for Zach Evans, who we were talking about. It just shows that the Rams, because we also have Ronnie Rivers. So, I think it might be an indication of how the Rams feel about Zach Evans. Jose said, are you planning on going to any of the games at SoFi this coming season? Yes, definitely planning on making a game. I don't know which one yet. I have to see the schedule when it comes out on May 9th, but I'm hoping to coincide it to whatever game Jake is going to. We would like to both be there the same week. And then I also am going to go to the game in Chicago, obviously. So if any of you want to come to the Chicago game, I will be there. And then also potentially I might try to make it to MetLife to see them play the Jets. That one might be a stretch, but I have so many friends that live in New York City and New Jersey that whenever the Rams play at MetLife, I try to go to that game and then see my friends in the area. Darren said, I remember like yesterday when drafting Kyron, how excited and certain Alexis was. We'd be with him spot on. Yes. I will never forget when the Rams drafted him as well. Alex, I never asked what you thought of the sign I sent over through Jake a while back. Through Jake. Oh, I really liked. Can you remind me what that was? I liked it. I have a lot of things. So we're talking about Jake's setup, or we were earlier. I'm also getting a new setup soon. I wasn't gonna. I don't want to say when, but I'm also getting a new setup soon, and I have a ton of RAM stuff, and it pains me to say this. I have a ton of RAM stuff in a closet that I don't have anywhere to put it that I'm saving for my setup, so I can't wait to bring it out. I don't have enough space in my place right now to have so many things out. I also have my signed Aaron Donald jersey that I need to get framed. Benji said, wow, the sofa is no more. It might not be. The new setup isn't coming for a few months, but I don't know. And let me hear your guys' opinion on this. But do you guys like the sofa look with the do you think I should do what Jake does where I'm at a desk and I have the camera closer to my face? And I do like the monitor thing, because originally I did this look because I just wanted to relax and be on my couch, and I've got my camera over there and I see everything on my laptop. But I think some people have mentioned to me in the past that they like the what Jake's got going on more close to the camera. He has it to where when he's on his monitors, his camera's there so he can make more eye contact, which I know is good. When you're making videos, I kind of am forced to look down because I'm on the sofa, but everybody in the chat is saying sofa, saying it's not me if I don't have my sofa. So maybe I need to stay on the sofa. So we'll see. Alex, that's right. Yes. Yes, I do like it. And that is going to go here. Honestly, it probably could already. I need to fix, guys. And now I'm having anxiety about my setup. Ella said, you should do the deck and lighting with your memorabilia behind you, or desk and lighting. Yeah, see, that's what I'm flirting with. I'm very much flirting with the idea of changing it around. And I don't know, but everybody's saying this is your core brand proposition. People say don't get rid of the Aubrey Plaza pillow. I know. Thank you, Edwin. That's kind. I know. I'm so used to this setup, but I do have that thing like, would it be better, if I had the desk kind of like Jake does it and was closer to the camera? So the problem with this setup is like my camera is as zoomed in as it can get. So I am a little limited, but I think this is fine. Like I don't need to like be in the camera's face. Maybe I could switch it up. I don't know. We'll see. I'm very comfortable right now. I have a lot of cool stuff I would like to put up, including something from Alex, as he mentioned. Um, but yeah, anyways, I just thought I would throw it out there because I've been planning on kind of changing up my setup and doing more of the desk thing. But now your guys' comments are like, everybody's very attached to the sofa. So now I'm like, shoot, I just want you guys to be happy. I'll do it wherever. Roy said 80 return ons. I don't think they're great. I don't know. And I'm not trying to be negative, but I feel like when I hear Aaron talk, he just feels very at peace with being retired and with no intention of coming back. So I don't know. I know that's not the answer people want to hear. It's not the answer I want to hear, but I just listen. I think he wants to be done. I think he is all that he has left to give has been given, but we'll see. We'll see. I wouldn't hate if he came back. Speaking of my pillows, guys, I feel like I don't like need one more, but I kind of want one more. So I've got Aubrey over here. I've got Lucille Ball and Betty White right here. And I want to get one more. I want pillows of women who I respect, and particularly women in comedy, but it could be anybody. I was going to do Kristen Wiig. I was thinking of doing Amy Poehler and Tina Fey. And then I also was thinking Drew Barrymore because I'm such a huge Drew Barrymore fan and I've been on a Drew Barrymore kick lately. So I don't know. Somebody in the comments said Tina Fey. I mean, her and Amy out of Second City. So like maybe. But yeah, that's besides the point. That's just me like openly talking about, just random stuff. PJ said, I'm not worried about if AD comes back or not. I've moved on quickly. Yeah, I'm at peace with it, although it does hurt. Darren said, but guys, if Alexis does a desk suit dress show, look, ESPN or another network, gonna grab her for sure. Yeah, no, I would do the same. Listen, anybody, you guys watch, I'm always in a hoodie when I'm doing this. Like I said, I'm all comfort vibes, but I do like a good power suit. I have to say, good power suit. I think it would be fun to be behind a desk and like, I've always wanted to go into like a boardroom in a power suit and sit at the head of the table and just like give, like, that would be a really fun character to play, of like playing like just a badass woman CEO. I think that'd be so fun. Because I don't know that I've ever played that character in improv before. But yeah, there's something about a power suit that just my whole attitude changes. I put on a power suit and I am like, there is nothing that can stop me. P Train said they are eating some Chinese food. That is amazing. I'm having Mexican food for dinner and I'm very excited for it. Roy said, do you feel the Rams plugged all the positions this post draft? Yes, except I have the two complaints I can make about this Rams draft are I would have liked maybe a more dominant receiver. I feel like they took a little bit of a risk with the receiver they chose. And then I also would have loved an inside linebacker. Didn't need to be somebody they took high, but I would have liked them to have gotten somebody to pair alongside Ernest Jones. Edwin said, living in Oregon, there's a lot of Sea Chickens fans talking crap. Is there a fan base that gets on your nerves living in Chicago? Might be different living in Chicago. Yeah, so there's no like NFC West rivals here, so I don't run into that. I like the Bears. Again, my grandpa and my dad are Bears fans, so I have an affinity, for them. So, obviously there's a lot of Bears fans here. I have become kind of like a Packers hater because everybody here hates the Packers. And the people here who are Packers fans are like a little insufferable. So I know that's not the answer. I think you were talking more about like an NFC West rival, but like there really isn't in Chicago that I run into. Although I have run into some 49ers fans here before, weirdly. Um, Benji said, watch Emily Hampshire in 12 Monkeys season 1, episode 12 for exactly what you're looking for. Boss lady entering a boardroom and firing everybody. That is like my dream role to play. I would love it. I love playing things that just are not me in real life. Darren said you have a Drew Barrymore vibe. Ugh, don't say that. Don't let me gain an ounce of confidence because she is amazing. And last Science Prince said Drew Barrymore would be cool. First 50 first dates was awesome. I agree with you. Whenever I get an actor and actress I respect, again, I watch a lot of movies, so I will watch their entire filmography. Like that might be weird. I know a couple other people who do this, but if I really like somebody and I respect them as an actor, I want to watch everything they've been in because I'm so blown away by their talent. And Drew Barrymore is that person for me. I think she's very underrated. I just watched her whole filmography, and she really does have a wide range of characters that she plays. I think she sometimes gets stereotyped as that 51st Dates vibe, but she can really do like literally every role. I've seen her do it all. Jose said, I see Alexis as more of an Aubrey vibe. Thank you. That's what I get most of the time. I do get the Aubrey Plaza vibe, and I don't know if that's real. I don't know if it's because people see her on My Pillow and then they associate us together. I don't know if it's because I've talked about how much I love her, but I have gotten that from people before that I give off like an Aubrey or like an April Ludgate, especially when I was younger and I was angsty in college. I got that I gave off like a nicer April Ludgate all the time. So I took it as a compliment. I think it was meant as a compliment, but we'll see. P Chain agrees. They would have picked a receiver round 3 because we cannot be sure that Cup will not get hurt again. Yes, and also we only have 2 wide receivers on our contract next season. Brett, I agree. The Niners are the most annoying fan base. Benji said not weird. I did that too. Did that with Emma Stone. Alex said Drew Barrymore in Scream. Another said Barrymore was in Reptile, another good movie. I've never heard of that movie, but I have heard of Firestarter, Brett. She was in that as a small child, I think. I haven't watched that. I will say I didn't watch her stuff from when she was like really young, only because when I was watching her filmography, she's done so much. And I was like, I'll watch from like this point on because I don't have like time. But eventually I want to rewatch ET. They're doing a screening in Millennium Park in Chicago this summer, which is a beautiful park, and they're going to show ET. So I want to go watch that. Alex, fun fact about Drew Barrymore in Scream. So this is a fun tidbit. If you guys are into horror movies or you're into Scream, you might already know this, you might not. So Drew Barrymore was offered the lead role in Scream. She was offered the Sidney Prescott role. She took it. She loved the script. She actually picked Wes Craven as a director. So she didn't officially produce the movie, but her production company were unofficial producers. She went out and found Wes Craven and was like, and this is a direct quote from Scream trivia that I've heard in the past. She was basically like, Scream in the hands of one director would be a B movie. In the hands of another director, it would be a masterpiece. And she wanted it to be a masterpiece. So she went out, she got Wes Craven to direct Scream. Then she said, you know what? This movie is being marketed as a Drew Barrymore movie. So if you guys remember when Scream came out, it was marketed to be like she was the star of the film. So everything that came out about the movie was, this is Drew Barrymore's movie. It was Drew Barrymore's idea. She said, I shouldn't play Sidney Prescott. She said, I should be the girl that dies in the first 10 minutes. Because the one thing about horror movies is everybody knows like the person is always going to make it. They're always going to survive. She's like, if I market it as the star of the movie, that scene opens with me and I die in the first 10 minutes, all bets are off. Nobody knows what to expect. She's like, that would be the biggest plot twist that we can do. So she gave up the lead role in Scream for the better of the franchise. And you can argue that that move, one, her finding Wes Craven, and two, her dying in the first 10 minutes of Scream, set the tone for what the Scream series was going to be. And that is some fun Drew Barrymore / Scream trivia if you didn't already know. Benji loves horror. Rocky Horror Picture Show is my fave. Benji said, who do you think is an overrated actor? Ooh, that's a tough one. I don't know. I have to think about that. Edwin said, just wanted to say thank you for everything you and Jake do in creating content. I went through a divorce this past year, and at my lowest point, I would watch you both talk about my favorite team. Thank you. Edwin, that means so much to me. And I know going through a divorce can be a hard time. I will say in the past year, my parents have gone through a divorce. I've not said that publicly, but I'm amongst friends here. And I know how hard that can be. And I've been going through that with my family in the past year. So to hear you say that watching me or Jake has brought you joy, that means a lot to me. And I hope that we can continue doing that. And it's only going to go up from here with this Rams team, I believe. So thank you. Thank you very much. That means a lot. Someone said with Benicio del Toro. I will have to look into that. I honestly never heard of that movie, which is surprising because I feel like I have heard of all of her movies. Alex said, damn, and I thought Shaggy from the Scooby-Doo movie being the bad guy was the big twist. That was a twist, but no. The twist is that, that Drew Barrymore was a calculated move that she would die in the first 10 minutes after being marketed the star of the movie. Benji said Scream is so fun, just did not like what they did to Melissa Barrera. I agree. Very sad. I really liked her and Jenna Ortega and the direction that Scream was going in. So, and maybe I'm delusional, but there's this part of me that's like, maybe the executives will die to self and maybe they'll come back and maybe we will get to see what the continuation of their story would be. I would love for that. I thought that I think they were going in a really good direction. So I'm really bummed about that and what's happened with that. Brett said Alfred Hitchcock did the same thing with Janet Leigh dying in the first part of the 1960s Psycho. Yes, you're exactly right. Psycho, also a great movie. And I actually think in that same interview, she mentioned that she drew inspiration from Janet Leigh in Psycho. Actually, pretty positive she said that as well. I have to go back and listen to it. That was a while ago. But yeah, that was Drew Barrymore was supposed to be Sidney Prescott. And she made the choice to say, no, I think I should be the girl that dies in the first 10 minutes. And I think that's really cool because a lot of people who get offered the role of Sidney Prescott in Scream don't walk away from that. Darren said a cool Craven Barrymore story. Another friend of mine, Kenzie, does special effect makeup for movies. Wes Craven is her favorite director. Have to tell her that story. Yes, definitely tell her that story. That's a really cool thing, that Drew Barrymore got Wes Craven into the Scream franchise. I haven't seen Night of the Living Dead, Benji. This might be surprising because I just talked about Scream. I'm very particular with my horror movies. Like, I don't know. I'm very particular. There's some I'll watch, some I steer clear of. Others I'll try and it's too much. Others I don't like. Like I'm just not. I think for me, anything that goes when it gets into like the spiritual realm or exorcist type stuff, that creeps me out. Like that stuff will keep me up at night. So like movies like Scream, I'm fine with. Like I can go to sleep at night after watching something like Scream. Anything that's like exorcism or like demons or whatever, that's when I'm like, I need my lights on. I triple check that all my doors are locked, all my extra safety precautions, my security set. That type of stuff really scares me. Alex said, if you mention enough horror movies, it summons Jake Ellenbogen, kind of like saying Beetlejuice 3 times. That is true. That is true. He's a big horror fan. Rams are PT and said, anyone remember Maximum Overdrive with Emilio Estevez? I don't. Benji said some say Night of the Living Dead is the first true zombie film in the US cinema. I haven't heard that, but yeah, like I respect it if it was the first. Like I said, I'm a very big movie fan, very big film person. One second, my DoorDash driver just messaged me. Few more minutes, guys. Any last thing to wrap it up? Brett, The Shining is another good one. Anything to wrap it up here? My dinner is about to be here, and I'm gonna watch a movie, but I'm not sure what yet. Probably a Ryan Gosling movie because I think I'm gonna watch his filmography next. Now that I've finished up Drew Barrymore. Alex said Signs is my favorite horror movie, and Jake refuses to watch it. That's surprising that he would refuse to watch a horror movie. Um, Guys, Brett said Drive. Yeah, that's one that I'm looking into watching tonight. Jose said The Crow was a good movie. The Dream is Dead said best worst movie. Oh, I don't know. I like the scary movies. Is that lame? LA Lou, I haven't seen The Exorcist because I think it would freak the shit out of me. So I haven't watched it. But guys, that's gonna do it for me. I'm sorry to cut this short. My dinner got here earlier than I expected. I'm going to tune out. I'm going to watch a movie. I'll have to let you guys know on Twitter what I'm watching. If you don't follow me there already, be sure to follow me there so we can talk. I'm always talking to people on there. Thank you so much, Benji. Thank you, Edwin. Love you guys too. Thank you, Darren. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, Alex, Crazy Stupid Love. Amazing movie, but I've already seen it. I'm not against rewatches. I rewatch movies all the time, but I was going to try to find something new tonight. But guys, I will schedule one of these for next week. Again, once Jake gets his new studio set up, we will be recording Downtown Rams. So yeah, be on the lookout for that and Jake's new studio setup. But guys, thank you so much. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I love the group that was in the chat tonight. You all are so kind and so much fun. Brett, yep, exactly. Movie time. You should all watch a movie tonight if you aren't already. But again, thank you guys so much. Love you all. Appreciate you all. I will be back soon. But until then, as I always say, stay safe, take care, and go Rams.